Hello, welcome to another Monday Night Live at 7:45. My name is Teresa Harper and I'm a independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Sheridan, Oregon in the USA. Thank you for joining me. All right. Let's go ahead and give everybody a couple of minutes to get on. Go ahead and comment and let me know where you're watching from, and hope everybody had a good Monday and a good Easter yesterday. Okay. Hello, Tracy. Hello, Laura. Good to see you. All right. Tonight we're going to be using the Last a Lifetime Cling Stamp Set. This set is retiring. It is in the current Stampin' Up! Annual Catalog, and it is on page 80. Right here. It's $23 for the stamp set. And then it also has the Lasting Elegance dies that coordinate with that stamp set. These dies are kind of a sleeper die, kind of a sleeper set. Hello, Jennifer. Hello, Cynthia. Thank you for joining me. This particular die set is at a fabulous savings of 75%. So it would ordinarily be $34, but it's on sale for $8.50. Very good buy. So we're going to be using both of those items to make some wedding cards today. But you could use it for anniversary, you could use it for Valentine's Day, or just because you want to send some best wishes, congratulations card, anything that you want to give a little bit of elegance to. So let's go ahead and get started. Again, you'll find those dies on page 181 of the annual catalog and the stamp set on page 80 of the current 2020-2021 annual Stampin' Up! Catalog. All right. And yes, Tracy, those dies are beautiful, and $8.50 is amazing. So we're going to start with some basic gray. We're going to use some Highland Heather, which I need to steal from another basket. And we're going to use some Smoky Slate. Those are our ink colors. We're going to do a little ink blending tonight because it's one of my favorite things to do. And then we are going to do just a bit of coloring with the Stampin' Blends. And we are using the Light and Dark Macaron, the Light and Dark Highland Heather, and the Light Smoky Slate. Okay, so let's set these things out of the way so we can get started. So the first thing we're going to do is a little bit of ink blending. So we have a card base in Highland Heather. This is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. Let's go ahead and give that a good crisp fold. Okay. My bone folder decided to slip down. Okay, so now we've got a nice crisp fold for our card base. And then we have a piece of Smoky Slate that is cut at 4, no, I made this a little bit bigger, I believe. Nope, 4 by 5 1/4. And then we have a piece of Whisper White, and this is 3 3/4 by 5. Okay, so we're going to start with our 3 3/4 by 5. And I have taken ahead of time, and with the Lasting Elegance dies, I used this intricate die, and I put it on a scrap piece of cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4, and I cut it out using the Big Boss machine. Okay, and I'm going to use this as a stencil. So I'm going to take some Post-it tape, and I'm just going to line up my edges. I'm going to take a little bit of Post-it tape. Wait a minute, this is not quite right. Guess I gotta move this over a little bit. How did I do that? Hold, please. Okay. Oh, I know how I did this. I need my piece of gray. That's how I did it. That's how I got it all lined up perfectly. Oops, you'd think I'd remember that from like, I don't know, 2 hours ago. So what I did was I took my piece of basic white, and I'm just going to put a little bit of temporary adhesive down there. And I'm going to line this up on my card, centering it up. This piece doesn't look quite right. Let me make sure I got it right. 3 3/4 by 5. Nope, it's right. Okay. Just isn't lining up with that piece very well, it doesn't seem like. Maybe it's just my eyeballs. Okay, so I'm going to put that on there. Then we're going to take this. Yes. And we're going to line up those edges. Just like so. And then I put the Post-it tape on there so it won't move. All right? Then I'm going to grab a scrap piece of paper. I'm going to take a little bit of Highland Heather ink here and a blending brush. Let me move these other things. I want to make sure that you guys have everything in this shot here. All right, then I'm going to start on my large rose flower here. I'm going to start in the center and I'm going to work my way out. Then I'm going to go back and I'm going to get a little more ink and I'm going to go right in the center and darken that up. Right? And then I'm going to go and take this little flower right over here and these two flowers over here. I'm going to give them a little inking. Okay. Then I'm going to take my gorgeous grape and with the same blending brush, I'm going to pick up a little bit of that gorgeous grape. I'm just going to hit the center of that flower. And then these two littles. Okay. I'm going to grab a different blending brush. And I'm going to take the Smoky Slate. I'm going to ink that up. And then I'm just going to go lightly over the areas that I haven't already inked. Okay. And if I want to know what that looks like, I can just peel this one edge up. And then I can see what I've got. And I'm happy with that. Okay. So then I can take this off. And I can reuse this multiple times. All right. I'm going to go in and rub my adhesive off the back. And then I'm going to take the sentiment that says, sending our very best wishes. And I'm going to get the basic gray. And I'm going to ink that up. And then I'm going to center this and stamp it down. All right. Now, I'm going to, now that I have that done, I'm going to take and I'm going to put some Post-it notes along the edge no, I don't think that's gonna work. I didn't do that, so okay, we're good. Scratch that. I should have done that earlier, but it's okay. All right, so we're just gonna take this now and we are going to, from that die set, there are these 3 little heart dies. And I've already cut those. In Purple Posy, Smoky Slate, and Highland Heather. Okay. So I'm going to take these. And I'm just going to put these on our card like so. Okay, and I'm going to do that with glue dots. We'll grab a glue dot and we'll put that right there. Grab another glue dot. Put this one up here. Hi, Sharon. Thanks for joining us. Okay. Now to these hearts, I'm going to get my Wink of Stella, and you won't be able to see it. I'm just going to put a little bit of shimmer on there. I think I need a new one. There's just, that gives it just a little bit of shine. Okay, now we're ready to add this to our smoky slate. Let's do that with some Stampin' Seal. Center that up as best we can. And then we'll add it to our Highland Heather card base. Okay. And the front of our card is finished. All right. Now for the inside. So I, ahead of time, took and stamped the flower image, the large flower image from the Last a Lifetime set, and I put it down here in the corner, and I stamped it in basic gray. And then I colored the little dot things with the light smoky slate, and then I added some shimmery crystal effects, and I don't know if you can see that in the camera, but it shows a little sparkle, and then I put a little mango melody with the shimmer effects in the center of each flower. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish coloring this in. So let me get a clean piece of grid paper here. The one I've been using is pretty icky. I don't want that to bleed through. So just put this in here, and I'm going to finish coloring these with Highland Heather and Mint Macaron. So I'm going to start with my light Highland Heather, and I'm going to give this large flower a light coat. All over. Okay. Then I'm going to go back with my dark Highland Heather, and on these petals that overlap, I'm going to put in just a little bit of dark where the shadow would be. Okay. And right down there in the center. And then I'm going to go back over and blend that in. Okay. And then for the other flower, I'm going to take my light and dark purple posy. And these are retiring. And I'm going to color this in because I want 2 tones of purple. And I'm actually going to go over here, the dark Highland Heather, and give it just a little bit of extra dimension. Okay. And then I'll go back with the light, blend those together. I'm going to add just a little bit of dark purple posy to this very center here. All right. So we're finished with those. I'm going to take our light and dark mint macaron. And we're going to color in these leaves. Okay, then with the dark, just going to go back. I'm going to scribble in a little bit of color in the center of my leaves and around these flower petals where there would be a shadow. And then I'm going to go back and blend that in a bit. Okay, so now that's done. Then we're going to grab our Big Boss machine. Okay. We need plates 1, 2, and 2 number 3s. And I'm going to take the, can you see that? I'm going to take this frame die. And I need to grab, I'm going to put that in. I'm going to try and center that up. I'm going to put a little bit of Post-it tape here so it'll stay how I want it. Oops. It's not staying very well. I need the bigger Post-it tape. But I left that over on the island. I don't have that centered up very good. Let me try this again. You know what? I'm going to move the boss. Center it up. And then we'll put it in the machine. And if I put it in crooked, then it will go through the machine a whole lot easier. All right. Now let's bring the machine up. All right, and we'll crank it through. Okay. Let's move the machine out of our way. Then we'll pull this off. And you can see how beautifully this cuts. And what you end up with. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and poke these pieces out. I'm going to need that die again in a little bit. All right, so this is what we're left with. Isn't that beautiful? Hi, Elaine. Thank you for sharing, Jennifer. All right. So now we're going to take the sentiment, may the memories of today last a lifetime, and we're going to get our basic gray ink. And we're just going to stamp this in the middle. And there is the inside of our card. Going to go ahead and now we can add this to the front of our card, or to the inside of our card. And then we're going to stamp our envelope. So just going to go ahead and add this with a little bit of Stamp and Seal. And there you have it. Okay. Now for the envelope, we're going to take that flower again, and the basic gray ink. And then also from that stamp set, there is a little flower. We're just going to stamp that right there. Okay. So to color this, when you're coloring on an envelope and you're using blends, you need to have a scrap piece of cardstock and you stick it inside the envelope. Okay. And I'm not going to color this whole thing, but I did want to show you this part because this is the part that I had done earlier for the inside. And I had completed it beforehand because it needed to dry. And I wouldn't have been able to put the card together. Okay, so we'll do that, and we're going to put a little bit of the Dark Mango Melody in the center of these flowers, like so. And then we're going to take the Shimmery Crystal Effects. And it's best if you store this upside down so that the Crystal Effects is at the tip of your pen. And then you just give it a gentle squeeze and dab. You just want little dots. And this is how you get that shimmery effect on your little dotty things. And then let's put it right in the center. And this has glitter in it already. So then when you get it, it's like that. Okay? It'll take about 5 minutes or so to dry completely. Depending on how thick you put it on, it could take you a couple hours, but not for something this small if you were going to put it on a lot larger area. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside somewhere where I won't get my fingers in the shimmery effects. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and leave this here while I clean up a bit for the next project. Okay. Clean those up because we're going to need them again. All right. So for our next project, we're going to be using a little bit of shimmer paint. I'll be using some Night of Navy ink. Let me move this card out of the way. And we'll be using a few Stampin' Blends. I'll tell you which ones those are. Okay, where did my sample card go? That's not very... Oh, there it is. All right. Okay, so we're going to start with the Big Boss right away on this project. Let me tell you the cardstock we're using. We have a piece of Night of Navy that is 5.5 by 8.5, and we need to score that at 4 1/4 because I didn't do that ahead of time. And we can go ahead and give that a fold so it's ready to go. I let go of the edges. Give that a good press. Set it aside. Then we have a piece of basic white cardstock that is cut at 4 1/16 by 5 3/16. Okay. And that's going to go on the front of our card, and it's going to leave us just a little narrower a border than we usually have. We also are going to use a piece of purple posy. This is a retiring in color that's cut at 4 by 5 1/4. Okay. And then we have a piece of 4 by 5 1/4 for the inside. So we're going to take that piece of basic white, and we're going to get our Big Boss machine. Actually, let's get our plates and get it set up first. That seems to be easier on camera. So again, I'm going to angle this so that it goes through the machine nicer. And I'm going to start with this piece again. I'm going to put this on, and I found the bigger Post-it tape, so that'll work a little bit better. I'm going to put that down. If you don't have Post-it tape, you could use a Post-it note, or you could use some washi tape. Okay, so we're going to cut this with the Boss. I'm going to run that through. And then we're going to take this, and I'm going to set it out of my way for just a minute. I'm going to take that off very gently, so we don't want to rip anything. We can set that piece aside. And then from our dies, we're going to grab this big corner piece. Okay. we're going to put this in. Put this at an angle. Can you see what I'm doing? And I'm going to line this up, making sure that my die is not going to cut here or here. So I'm just trying to line this up, square it up. Okay, and then I can put that down and that down. Put my top plate over the top. Now, because this is a really intricate die, I found I had to run it through twice. So I'll run it forward, and then I'll run it backward. And then I can put the machine away. And this is the die, this one that I just cut is the die that I used to make the my stencil. So peel that off. Get those off my plate, put my plates aside. And then grab my Take Your Pick tool and my die brush adapter for my Take Your Pick tool, and I'm just going to roll that across. And you can see how easily those all pop right out of there. Cuts like a dream. Okay. And there's what we have left. Okay, get all those little pieces out of the way. Now we're going to do one more thing to this before we do any stamping on it. I'm going to grab my Frost White Shimmer paint, and this is the Frost White Shimmer paint that comes in this little pot. This is on the retiring list. And you mix alcohol with about 5 to 8 drops of the shimmer paint. And you want to use 70% alcohol. Anything higher than 70% clogs up the nozzle of your sprayer. So we're just going to take this, and I'm going to put it in my box here. Looks like I got a little, hang on. Looks like I somehow ended up with a little bit of adhesive on there that I don't want. Let me get that out of there. I got to give this a little squirt because mine tends to the first squirt. And I'm just going to squirt it 3 or 4 times, and that'll give that a beautiful glimmer. Okay, and that's what that looks like. I don't know if you can see it, if the light will pick that up, but it shimmers. Really looks beautiful. Okay, so let's see. Now we can take and add, we're going to add our purple posy to the back of this piece, and I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue around the edge. And this piece is cut just a tiny bit smaller So you don't want to put your glue at the very, very edge. Okay. And then I'm going to add a little bit of glue here and here and in these little pieces right there, just so that that sticks a little bit. And then I'm going to leave this wrong side, or yeah, right side down. And I'm going to go ahead and add this piece on. And then I know I don't have anything sticking out, and I've covered up all my cut areas. Okay. All right. So this is what we have thus far. Now you could add any of the sentiments from this stamp set to this card. So you could do sending all my love. You could do to the new Mr. and Mrs. In fact, let's try that, to the new Mr. and Mrs. And we'll get a block for that. And I'll go ahead and this one I'm going to line up the top. Stamp that down. Get a piece of paper. I want Night of Navy ink. And then I'm going to audition this just to see if it's stamping straight. And it is. Okay. So we can go ahead and ink that up one more time. Bring this down. And there we are. Okay. Now we're ready to add this to our card front. I'm going to grab some Stampin' Seal. And add that. And there is our very shimmery card front. Okay. Now, for the inside piece, we're going to run it through that Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine again with the fancy corner. Okay, so let's go ahead, put this on. Again, we're doing it at an angle. Make sure I have all my little pieces off my plate. I'm going to run this through. And we'll pull that off. And there we have it. Okay. And we're going to take our Night of Navy ink again. And may the memories of today last a lifetime. Got a little doohickey on my ink pad there. Okay, we'll put this down. And then we're going to take, I have a second stencil that I cut out of white that has a little bit of a little bit smaller border than the original one that I used. And I am going to take and line this one up with the bottom. And again, I'm going to take that washi tape and go a little bit higher on this one. All right. And we need some scrap paper. I'm not sure what I did with my cleaner piece already. Oh, there it is. You don't need to see all the dirty. All right. So with this one, we're going to take the Highland Heather again. I'm going to ink that up. Okay, we're going to get that gorgeous grape. Just a little bit in the center there. And then I'm going to go ahead and lightly color these other flowers. And I'm going to take a Post-it note on this edge. I should have done that on the other edge already. Post-it right there. And then we're going to get our Night of Navy ink. Rub a little bit of that off. And then we're going to go in and finish this off. I'm going to put a little bit darker in this flower here, a little bit darker Night of Navy in this flower here. Am I too far? Oh, you guys can't see. These edges, and then just real light for the rest of it. Okay? Then I'm going to lift this up. Take off my masks. And there is the inside. Okay. Then to finish this off, we're going to take, there's 2 heart stamps in the Last a Lifetime stamp set. I'm going to take some Night of Navy ink. And we're going to ink up the largest heart. I'm going to stamp that down. And then we're going to get the Highland Heather ink. We're going to get the smallest heart. Oh, and I see I've got a ring of ink, and that will, I'm going to clean that so I don't end up with a rim. So let's go ahead and tap, tap, tap. And we're going to put this up here. And then without re-inking, I'm just going to go right there. Second generation. All right. And now this is ready for the inside of our card. So add a little bit of Stamp and Seal. And we'll add that. Okay. And there is our finished projects for tonight. Now I did do another one. I'm going to show you that I took, rather than doing just a two-tone, I added some So Saffron and Just Jade for the leaves. Okay. So there are those. Oh, and I didn't show you the, yeah. So this is the envelope that goes with this card right here. It's a matching envelope. Okay. So let's see if anybody had any questions. Oh, thank you guys. I'm glad you like the cards. I had fun making those today. Believe it or not, this is one of those stamp sets that I had purchased, and I meant to get it out and use it, and it had not seen ink before today. It's definitely a keeper, though. I won't be getting rid of this stamp set because it does make such beautiful cards. All right, so remember, it's the Last a Lifetime. And you can find that on page 80 of the current 2020 to 2021 annual catalog. And then the Lasting Elegance dies are on for a great $8.50 bargain. And those are on page 81. And just before I went live, they still had them in stock because I double checked. All right. Thanks everybody for joining me, and thank you for anyone watching on the replay. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day, and I will see you back here again next Monday for another live at 7:45. All right, everybody, thank you so much. Good night.